This is the place where it all used to happen for WVCP 88.5, the college radio station. Come on, I'll show you around a little bit. Volunteer State Community College has had an FM on the air radio station since January 4th, 1979. Obviously, they had applied for the license and were getting ready in previous semesters, and then they turned it on with the big first day on the air right after Christmas break of that year. I actually applied for the position a year earlier, and I did not have my master's degree completed. To teach at a community college in Tennessee, you need to have a master's degree, and you need to have 18 graduate credit hours in the subjects that you're teaching. A year later, the position was advertised again. Both those times I saw it in Broadcasting and Cable Magazine. I saw an ad that the college had placed in the back of that trade publication. And so the second time around, I applied for it, and I put in my cover letter the date that I wrote that letter. I said, I will have my master's degree completed next week. And then later on, I saw that letter in my personnel file here at the college, and someone had underlined in red, I will have my master's degree completed next week. So obviously it was important. It helped me to get the job the second time around, whereas because of that I did not get the job the first time around.
I started going to school at Volunteer State College in 2006 and decided to change my major in 2007 to radio communications after I had volunteered at the radio station after the tornadoes had hit. For the most part, during the first semester that I did it, I just kind of let the computer take control of it, and then I started writing down the songs I actually liked in a book. Being a college student, having to listen to 60s, 70s, and 80s, there's not really too much that you remember from those particular times and genres that you really like. So I started writing it down in a book, and then as I progressed, I started using that book to kind of fill in the spots with songs that I really didn't like. And then also with the second semester I started doing it, I picked up a modern rock shift, so I was doing 2 shows a week. I graduated from Vol State in the spring of 2009. And then it wasn't too long after that Mr. E called me and said that there was going to be this position opening up. And so my transition from student here to actually working here was only 6 months, because by January 2010 I had the position I'm currently in, which is the operations assistant.
The tornado was in April of 2006. It did have a big impact on the college, and it did have a big impact on the radio station. At that time, the radio station was in Caudill Hall on the top floor at the very west of the building. When that tornado came, it came from Ashland City, and it came right that way, and so we kind of were one of the first things on campus that got hit because of our location up there. We didn't lose as much equipment as you would have thought we would have lost. We only really totally lost a couple of pieces of equipment. It took a while for them to decide if they were going to rebuild that building or tear it down, and we couldn't be in there for an amount of time, so we had to use some unconventional means to get the station back on the air. We had some stuff canned in a computer, some programming on a 4-hour loop that repeated, that we took up to the transmitter site and took that computer up to the transmitter site and plugged in the transmitter. We were back on the air 6 days after the tornado hit, and so then we just had to change that loop out. Then we got to where we could, we had a couple of PCs that we were putting programming in. We'd switch them out, and while one was airing in a loop, we would put programming in the other one, then we would just switch them out. And then eventually we were able to get a temporary studio to do live programming in the video storage room here in Raymer. They let us build a temporary studio in there, and we were in there for a while. And then they built us, in 2007, they built us these nice studios here in the Raymer building where we are now. Right over this area was our control room, was right in here was the control room, and there was a window out this way so we could see outside. There used to be a door right over here where this bulletin board was. Used to be a door, and that was the door to where my office was for many years. When you come back here a little bit further, probably representing about this area right here, there was another door, and that was the newsroom, and we had glass through. You could see from the control room to the newsroom, and another glass you could see even back further into that. This area in here, kind of where I'm standing right now, which is kind of an open area for quite a long time. We had some couches and chairs, some computers, and some student work area. At one point, we did do a remodel up here before the tornado happened, and the production room was always kind of back here. And then after the remodel, they moved my office to this area back here, and they had the production room was moved over here on this side. But it really wasn't that way for a long time, because it wasn't that long after the remodel that the tornado came and did all the damage that it did.
This is Travis from the 60s through 90s show. Everybody's having a good Tuesday so far. That last song was called Garden Party by Rick Nelson, and this next song is called Overkill by the group Men at Work. And if I can make a few requests, give me a shout, 615-230-3618. The number again is 615-230-3618. I grew up listening to sports talk radio, and I wanted to try this out and learn about communications. It's helped me because I've learned to be on radio and do what I want to do. And I hope to apply this to a job at a radio station someday.
Here's a great remake of Smooth Operator, originally by Sade. You know that song, Dawn.
That's right.
Great song. Here is Nostalgic Radio, a local cover band, playing Smooth Operator. It's 9:42 on WVCP 88.5 FM. This is Shane and Dawn. Well, I've been listening to radio since I was young. I grew up sitting next to a radio, spent hours and hours next to a radio. At one point I had a DJ in my church many years ago, and he led the music, but he was also a DJ. I listened to him, and it kind of inspired me a little bit. And always, I grew up in the Los Angeles area, listening to Rick Dees and some other guys out there who are pretty famous, and really liked it. And I moved out here to Tennessee 24 years ago and got involved in the college radio here. And about 12 years ago I did that, and then I took 12 years off, and now I've gotten married to Delightful Dawn here, as I call her, and I got her interested, and she's got a great radio voice. So this is some of the most recent ones that were captured on Twitter.
Okay.
These are parents.
This is a mom, but this is about dinner time here. She says, I bet I could eliminate 50% of the tantrums in my house if I just referred to dinner as snack time. I think they'd catch on though.
Yeah,
they get all excited and then they sit down and they say, green beans and all those.
This ain't a snack.
Yeah, this isn't a snack, this is dinner. One thing that's been kind of interesting for us is, like I said, we have a band and we have 2 songs that we did in the studio, and we presented them to Mr. E and asked him if we could put them on the air, and he's like, absolutely. So it was kind of cool. So during our time that we're here, we'll play our 2 songs, Wrapped Around Your Finger, which was by the Police, and we redid that one, and then
Smooth Operator.
Smooth Operator by Sade that we did. So I think it's just kind of been cool that that's actually out there. If somebody would have told me that I was going to be on the air, like as a DJ or whatever, and I had a song out there years ago, I would have laughed and said, yeah, right, no way.
Well, my first week here at Ball State, I heard that the radio station needed help, and I thought that was pretty cool, so I went and I asked Mr. E. I said, well, do you have any positions open for the radio station? And he immediately just flooded me with stuff that he needed. He was like, oh, we need people for the news, and we need people to take this shift and that shift. And so I started out as a 3 to 6 DJ, which is like 60s through 80s music with some 90s scattered in. And I read the news at noon. And so I did that for a semester or 2. And kind of dropped off since then, but I'm still finishing up my mass comm degree, so maybe I can do something with radio in the future.
Our job at the radio station is to have community involvement and to let people of all ages know about all the things that are going on at Vol State, and just to make sure that they're aware of all the different programs and services that the college has. And then the other arm of our responsibility is to be a training facility. Our goal is to have state-of-the-art training facilities in radio for people that are in the communications department, people that are getting degrees in the communications department. We decided that we wanted to be reaching, make sure we were reaching people of adult age as well as younger folks. And one of the goals to do that was to be able to have programming that would allow us to get played in businesses around Gallatin and Hendersonville and the surrounding area, to be played in these different businesses. We're trying to reach the adult audience up until 5 o'clock. We're trying to protect the adult audience up until 5 o'clock. So that's why we have the big variety and oldies format during the day. And then our programming changes in the evening and at night, where we play the more modern stuff, the harder rock, and we still even mix in some of the heavy metal music. And that's designed obviously for a younger demographic. We have news headlines in the morning on our morning show. We have noon newscasts where we have local, state, national stocks, sports, and weather in our noon newscast.
Usually we each have our own separate categories. I'll be the regional, national news, and I'll do the sports.
And I'll do the national, international, and I'll do the weather and the stocks. We started off the opposite way around, but then we switched this way. We both like this format better for us.
WVCP has helped me out so much, just to kind of get to know people. Like I met Carlin and other hosts and DJs and stuff like that. It's been a fantastic experience.
I've definitely made quite a bit of relationships through WVCP as well, friendships, and broadcasting is something I do enjoy.
We are right now just starting in the process of, we are going to be making some changes to our programming of music. We've decided that we're gonna split the music on WVCP, analog FM, and HD1, what we call Air 1. We're gonna split that into two different groups, and we're gonna have what we call a day mix and a night mix. We've decided that there's some music from that time period that's a little harder, that we haven't played, that we probably could play and should play. Up to now, we've just been playing during the day on the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. We're going to expand that to play some songs from the 2000s. We're not going to take anything out of that day mix, but we're going to change the mix. You can do that. We use what we call clocks and the music software to control what songs are played at what time. And so we're going to be changing the mix and the clocks to make what we play on the one during the day. You're not going to get the perfect job where there's never any stress, but I enjoy working here because I enjoy working with students and trying to help them shape their minds and develop good habits and to get jobs. I still get very excited when a student gets a job. And the thing I enjoy about the station is I get to have my hands in a little bit of everything. I get to do a little engineering. I get to do some programming. I get to do some things with production. I get to do some things with news. I get to do planning. I get to buy equipment. I think we've been pretty successful. I suppose there's always things we could have done better, but I think for the most part we've been pretty successful. Certainly a big milestone was 2011 when we got the stimulus grant, which allowed us to upgrade everything here in our Raymer 169 studios. We were able to upgrade everything to digital. We were able to add HD radio, so we can brag a little bit now and say that we have digital HD state-of-the-art radio facilities. We've been streaming our signal on the web since 2004. We've had a web page for a long time. We've just added a Facebook page here, official Facebook page for the station here recently. So I'm pretty happy that we've been able to achieve these things and that we've been able to add these additional services over the year as they were appropriate.